Hey everyone, Jason here, digital marketing consultant, and in this video marketing guide, you're going to learn 4 actionable tips to grow and scale your business online with video in 2020 and beyond. Make sure you check out the timestamp table of contents in the description, along with some other helpful deep dive video marketing links that I'll be referencing as we go through these 4 different tips. So before we dive into those 4 tips, let's go ahead and define what the heck video marketing actually is. So all video marketing is using video as a medium to build rapport and trust with potential customers. Now, the huge advantage over video versus something like text and audio is you have the nonverbal cues, which means that video in the online marketing world is the closest you can get to actually an in-person interaction, because you have all those nonverbal cues that show up on video, where obviously you can't really translate that into text. And podcasts a little bit, but definitely not as much as video. So with that, let's go ahead and dive in. The very first tip is understanding that there are only 3 types of videos you need to market and make sales online for your business. Now, you might have seen lots of different videos, or you might have lots of different video ideas. So these 3 types or buckets are going to help you organize all of your ideas and make sure that you focus in on the right type of video. Now, the very first one is called hero video, and think of it as your company's trailer. So if you have multiple products and services, then this is definitely going to be more about your company in general and your customers. If you have one specific product or service, then you can think of that for this video. Now, what's very important with your company trailer or your product trailer is that it needs to be about your ideal customer, not necessarily about how great you are. And it's really, really easy to fall into the trap of creating a video talking about how successful you are, or how wonderful your product is, or how great your service is, or how happy past customers and clients are. But really what you want to do with this style of video is meet your ideal customer where they are, and then show them that you can be helpful in their situation. So typically this best starts with the video starting off with some sort of representation and acknowledgement of the big problems that your ideal customer is facing, and then you gradually lead into, and this is how we've been able to solve those problems, the problems your ideal customer has right now, for our other customers. And then you go into testimonials. And so as long as you keep a conversational tone, you don't try and sell anything in the video, and you focus on how do I communicate with someone that we understand their pain and we can be helpful in solving that, that is going to be the recipe for success when it comes to creating a great hero story video. Now, the second type of video is probably the most common we see online, and that is content videos. Now, there are 3 specific types of content videos, but in this bucket, essentially what you're doing is you're identifying a problem or a question your ideal customer has, and then answering the question or solving the problem. So the 3 different types we have here inside of this bucket would be how-to content, where you are showing your ideal customer step-by-step how to achieve what they want. The second type is a review. So this is great if you're a physical products-based business, where you essentially create a review of products you sell or products or services that they might be interested in. You definitely don't want to do reviews of direct competitors, because that's just going to come across as completely biased, right? But if you have other products and services that your customers are most likely using or most likely considering using, then you can create reviews of those products and services. The point here is to be actually helpful. And then, of course, with physical products, you can review your own physical products and, of course, link up to your own website if you're posting on YouTube. But we'll get more to that in a bit. And then the final type here is the decision guide. And this is essentially helping your ideal customer make a decision, essentially a pros and cons of taking one path versus another. And so that does it for all of the different types that you can have in terms of a content marketing video. If you want to learn more about content marketing, how to put together a content marketing plan specifically for YouTube, make sure you check out the link in the description to that video marketing guide. Now, the final type is actually going to be a sales video. So this is where you're still building rapport, you're still building some goodwill there, but you're also making a sales pitch. Now, what's very important with the first 2 is there's no sales at all in there. It's all either value or empathizing and building rapport with your ideal customer. It's not until the sales video where you actually start pitching your products and services. And this is why it's so important to understand the different types of videos that you could be making for your business, because a huge mistake a lot of new business owners and entrepreneurs make is they have a sales pitch in their content and they have a sales pitch in their hero story. And as soon as you start selling, even if it's a super soft sell, it will turn people off because they're not ready for it. One great way to think about your video marketing is you're gradually building rapport and trust with your potential customer. So your hero video demonstrates that you can understand and empathize with where they are. By the way, it can be a talking head video just like this one. It doesn't have to be super fancy. And then your content actually demonstrates that you can provide value. And then after you've done all that, after all that rapport and goodwill building, you can go into the sales pitch. So that does it for the 3 different types of videos. Obviously, you probably want to have some combination of all of these, but you definitely want to make sure that they don't overlap because they each have a specific purpose in your marketing stack. Now, the next tip I have for you is video marketing is not social media. I think there's this huge misconception that somehow video marketing and social media marketing are the same thing. And it couldn't be further from the truth, because video marketing is actually a type of content marketing, not a type of social media marketing. So when you go to Facebook or Instagram and you start doing a live, that is social media marketing. When you make a video for your website or your blog, or you start a YouTube channel and you start creating how-to guides on your YouTube channel, that's content marketing. That's video marketing. Because when you're putting all the time and energy into video, you want to make sure that something that you're making isn't going to die within 24 hours. And so video marketing is about creating videos that have some sort of evergreen nature to them. So they're going to last 6 months to anywhere from 6 months to 2 years. Whereas opposed to if you're posting on a platform like Facebook or Instagram, well, that's going to go away within 24 to 48 hours. And that's in the social media realm. That's not in video, that's not a part of video marketing. Because when it comes to video marketing, you need to create your hero video. You need to demonstrate your worth and value by actually delivering great content and, of course, making your sales pitches. None of those fit very well in the social media sphere. And the only one of those that translates really well into your social media strategy would actually be your hero video. But when it comes to content and when it comes to sales, you definitely want to keep that on your sales. You definitely want to keep on your site, and content you want to keep on platforms like YouTube or your blog that are actually going to continue to provide value to you, as opposed to just disappearing in 24 to 48 hours. Now, you've probably heard of some version of the advice that all you have to do is whip out your phone and you have everything you need to start your content marketing. And that is somewhat true, but it's not as true as it was just a few years ago. So when it comes to tip number 3 here, your content needs to be good, but not necessarily great. So I'll go through some examples of actual hardware that you could be using to create videos, specifically what I use. But it's very important to note that what you have right now in your pocket, whatever model phone you have, as long as it was made within the last 2 years, has a camera good enough to actually start making video. The main difference in a terrible looking amateur video that no one's going to bother watching, and one that people can tell you recorded it on your phone, but it's not a huge deal, is going to be your audio. So once you have your phone, the next thing I recommend is checking out this iRig mic by Rode. It's less than 50 bucks, and it simply just plugs right into your cell phone and you're good to go. This is literally all you need to get started with video marketing. And if you want to get fancy with your lighting and you don't just want to stand in front of a window every time you make a video, you can check out these lighting options here. But really, when it comes to getting started with video, all you need is a cell phone that was created within the last 2 years and a lav mic, and then you are set up and ready to go. And as just a quick example, I've set up my phone here. I have a couple of lights around me, as you can see in this little B-roll. Editing is awesome, and I'm just using a $50 lav mic. Now, is this going to win any awards? Of course not, right? The $900 camera over there, sure, has a lot of nice features, but at the end of the day, the people who are watching your content, they don't really care. What they care is that they can hear the audio well, that the video is decent enough, it's somewhat easy on the eyes, and probably they don't want as much shaking as as this cell phone video is. So I should probably add getting a cheap tripod to put your cell phone on so it's not moving around as you're moving your arms and being animated would probably be a good thing. But as I just wanted to show you this really quick because it doesn't have to be complicated. It doesn't have to be the best video in the world. It just has to be good enough. And if you don't want to use your cell phone for whatever reason, you can also check out the C920 webcam by Logitech, which can actually record in 1080, although with most laptops and desktops, you probably need to record in 720p, but that's also a great option if you just want to record directly from your computer and not deal with much else. Now, the final tip I have for you deals with paid advertising, because something that seems to be amiss in the marketing world in general is the belief that when it comes to content, you can just make some content, you can make a video or a podcast or a blog post, and then it's just magically going to be ranked by Google and people are magically going to find it on social media. Well, eventually, sure, with some search engine optimization and a lot of patience, that will happen. But there is a very easy way, especially when it comes to video marketing, that you can accelerate this process, and that is actually YouTube ads. Here on YouTube, you can still get in-stream ads to run for 5 to 10 cents. Now, in-stream ads are those annoying videos that pop up before videos like content videos like this one, and people have the option of skipping after 5 seconds. Now, what's really cool with these ads is because Google owns YouTube, you can use the power of Google Ads, or Google AdWords as it used to be called, on YouTube. So what does that mean? Short and sweet version is you can target people who are actively looking for your products and services using something called in-market audiences. Now, I'll link up in the description to a full-blown tutorial that actually walks through how to set up a Google Ads campaign from scratch and also has an example of what a video ad script would actually look like, because we run a lot of video ads here on YouTube and we will keep running them as long as they stay nice and cheap and actually profitable for ourselves and our clients. So that's the final tip number 4 for you. Even if you only have 1 or 2 videos, definitely just spending a couple dollars a day, you can get your video and your company in front of hundreds, if not thousands of people for pennies on the dollar. When it comes to brand awareness, or if you want to send them directly to a product page, there is very few sources of paid traffic that's available right now in 2020 for the cost that YouTube ads offers them. So thank you so much for watching. I sincerely hope you got some value out of this video, and most importantly, you have a much better understanding of how you can start using video marketing in your own business. And I hope I've lowered the barrier to entry at least a little bit, showing that it doesn't have to be super complicated. It's what's most important, I think, out of all of these tips is to just get started. Your first video, your first 10, 20 videos, they're going to be terrible. We all look back at our previous content, whether it's a year or even 6 months ago, and go, wow, I really thought that was good, but you know what? We can't get to that point if we don't start. So go ahead and hit that like button, subscribe for more deep dive marketing videos just like this one, and until the next, keep building the business you love.